Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live Saturday morning. And I'm so happy to be here with you today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Jan Slater, and I'm a chiropractor, and I'm in active practice for the past 31 years. So, I really love helping people. That's why I'm still in practice, help them with their chiropractic issues, and also help my patients with their weight loss struggles through healthy eating, food, and exercise. So I'm your host, and I also run the Facebook group Keto Family Meal Plan, where we discuss all things keto. Now, I believe our group has a great supportive membership of fellow ketoers, and we currently have 250 keto-approved recipes and keto tips with lots of member support. And we get lots of questions throughout the week that are asked by people who are either new to keto or have a black belt in keto that the group tries to answer and be interactive and supportive. So our group is alive and well, and thanks to all of you. So, if you're new to our group and new to our Facebook Lives, we really enjoy doing everything about keto and figuring out how to lose weight and stay healthy at the same time. So, when I look around at other keto groups that I'm in, probably 10 or 15 groups. And I listen to lots of other doctors too on podcasts, YouTube, like Dr. Eric Berg, Mark Hyman. These are, Mark Barry, Dr. Barry, really big keto doctors out there that, I see that they're answering tons of questions. And I really love the fact that you've got some really great minds out there answering questions and really putting some good keto information out there. There's lots of bad information out there. And that's one of the reasons that I started doing keto in my own office and started doing these Facebook Lives. Truthfully, I was one of those doctors who didn't think that keto was a healthy way of life. Like years ago, I had patients come in that were really losing significant weight, and I would ask them how they were losing their weight. And they said they were doing keto. And then I asked them more about how they were doing keto. And some of my patients, truthfully, said, I eat a lot of bacon, or I eat a lot of pepperoni, and I eat tons of cheese. And I'm thinking to myself, holy cow, how could this be healthy? And certainly, how could this be sustainable? I was really wrong. It was my bias until I really started looking at keto and looking at low carb, moderate protein, high fats. Now I really understand the science behind keto eating. And now I'm really able to help my patients with a low carb diet, such as keto. And that's why I love doing these Facebook Lives, is really to kind of dispel a lot of those myths out there about keto and hopefully put some good information out there to help people around the globe with their weight loss struggles. Keto for me, at least is how I try to, work with my patients. It's really not just about losing weight. It's about adopting a healthier lifestyle of eating. And I really believe that that's the key. So, during this Facebook Live, feel free to ask any questions. I'll do my best to give you a useful answer. And if I don't know it or I partially know it, at least I'll point you in the right direction. So before we get started, who here has never been on a Facebook Live call ever? Go ahead and just type in your comments. I'm looking now. Welcome, Christine. Welcome, Casey. Any questions out there, please feel free to type in the comments section. I also love, it's hard to just talk to a screen, so it's nice to know that there are people out there listening. If you don't mind, say hi, or I'm here, or me. I love to hear where people are from, so if you want to type in the state or town or country that you hail from, I'd love to see who's joining us from around the globe and just give you a big shout out. All right, I'll give you just a second or two. I'm going to take a sip. I apologize. I've got a little bit of stuffiness this morning. Hi, Christine. Glad you're joining us. Louisiana, welcome. Yeah, I've got people from all over the globe. It's really exciting. All right, let's get started. So before I just delve into the main content here, just those that are on the call today on this Facebook Live, have any of you guys been, like, is this new to you for keto? Is it, have you been doing it a while? Are you facing any kind of struggles? Any struggles understanding macros or what macros are? Just type in anything in the comments section. That way I can address any concerns that you guys have. All right. All right, let's get started. And again, thanks everybody for joining us. Hi, Christine. I know who you are, one of my patients. Anyway, I appreciate you engaging with me, hanging out with me for the next 15 minutes or so. And just to know, so you guys know as we continue to grow, if you know of anybody who's doing keto or interested in weight loss or has no idea what keto is, please share this group with them. Also, I'm getting more of these videos put up on our Facebook page and our Instagram. Let them know that everything here is available for free. So spread the word. So the topic of today is, keto, what I think is the missing link with weight loss, which is tracking macros. And believe me, if you go in any group, there are tons and tons of misinformation regarding macros. And we did a Facebook Live last week talking about different types of keto, strict keto or healthy keto, lazy keto, dirty keto, whatever one that you choose. You're going to probably lose weight. But I think that tracking and tracking your macros is probably going to be one of your keys to success. So let's just jump right in here. Here we go. So, in case you're unaware, if you're going to do keto the right way, you've got to care about your macros, and which is, shorter way for what really is called macronutrients. Now, this is different than micronutrients. Think of the word macronutrient. Macro means big, micro means small. Let me just touch on these briefly because you're going to, probably hear about it and see about it, when you peruse around all these different keto groups. I'm not going to get into a big nutrition topic today, but I just want to get the basics so you can understand what we're talking about today. So when we talk about nutrients or, refer to them, it's the elongated version, if it didn't clue you in, of macronutrients. It's really what is in the types of foods that you eat, and it's the big part of what your foods break down into, what we call proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Those are the macronutrients. As Harvard Health states in one of the publications that I was reading, these nutrients supply your calories and serve as building blocks for muscles and tissues. Now, most people get, get plenty of these, and, most of us get too many of these from our regular diet. Well, in comparison, micronutrients are the individual vitamins and minerals. Now, they're important too and crucial for our health, but we need these in much smaller amounts. So now that we know the difference between micronutrients and macronutrients, micro, the vitamins and minerals in our food, and macronutrients, which are the fats, the proteins and fats found in, the fats, the proteins, and the carbs found in our food. The question bears is, why is the keto world so hung up on figuring out what the macronutrients are? Well, in my humble opinion, this can be the difference between why some people really succeed with keto and why others fall off the wagon because of their lack of weight loss, their frustration, their perpetual weight loss stalls, on and on. So, just so you know, all foods are not created equal. So let me give you an example. So, a lot of us love bacon, which might have the same fat content or the same fat ratios as another protein like nuts, like walnuts or peanuts or almonds. So I think darn well that they're not the same thing if you compare bacon to, healthy nuts. The key thing here that you're going to want to be aware of is what is the ratio, like the ratio of fats to proteins to carbs that make up the things that you are eating, that you're ingesting. Also it's the micronutrients, again, the vitamins and the minerals and how our body uses those as fuel to not only keep us going, but over time has the power to transform you and really, really get you healthy. One is good and one is probably not so good. Well, they both might have similar amounts of fats, like if you look at bacon versus like a healthy nut, like a peanut or something, an almond or a macadamia nut. Bacon has about 68% of its macronutrient of fat, and peanuts are only 50%. So, while this example, you're getting more fat from bacon than you would get from a healthy nut, like a peanut, nuts contain heart-healthy monosaturated fats. Walnuts have 18 grams of fat, 4 grams of protein. They've got high amounts of heart-healthy alpha linoleic acid, ALAs, which is a type of omega-3 fatty acid that we find in plants, or like 20 almonds, which is, high in calories, but it's 14 grams of fat. Primarily healthy monosaturated fats, again, along with omega-3 fatty acids. So, that's what you got to look at is weighing out is even though bacon has high fat, nuts have high fat too, but what kind of fats are you really getting? And again, not all foods or not all fats are created equal. A while back, if you're old enough like me, I grew up in was in high school in the 70s, and all of this stuff came out about eating eggs and how bad they were and added, gave you bad cholesterol and that we were supposed to avoid eggs. That's really different. We know now that ingesting quality saturated fats, which are typically found in animals, like, good cuts of beef and pork and lamb, chicken meat, eggs, high-fat dairy foods like whole milk or butter or cheese, sour cream, ice cream. You can get keto ice cream. Some tropical oils like coconut oil, palm oil, cocoa butter. Those are healthy saturated fats, and they've been shown to improve your HDLs, which is your high-density lipid proteins, and affect your LDLs, which are your bad lipid proteins. So they can help you with your HDLs and increase your HDLs and lower your LDLs. They can also help you with bone density, decrease inflammation, and support important hormones in our body. So nuts like peanuts and almonds, macadamia nuts, on one hand, really good fats. But on the flip side, people love bacon. And I see tons of recipes out there. I even have them in my own keto group. They've got about 3 strips, has probably about 24 grams of fat, 9 grams of protein. But peanuts, on the other hand, only have 7 grams of protein. So yeah, you got to weigh these things out. It's not a significant difference in and of itself. And by bacon lovers across the globe, they might, beg to differ with you and not really care so much about, the nutritional contrast. Again, just going back to the Facebook Live I did last week, talking about dirty keto and lazy keto. They're not so much concerned if you want to do keto that way, that's fine, but not so concerned about the type of fats or the healthy fats that you're getting. So, the vitamins and minerals are also important. And not only that, just kind of the different additives that are, in processed food that go into our system. Bacon has a lot of nitrates. And I know, of course we can get nitrate-free bacon or nitrate-free kielbasa or sausages. I don't want to be like a bacon hater or like a sausage hater. But I also want to make it clear that, where we get our macronutrients from and what we eat, you've got the micronutrients that are really important as well to our health. So, just to recap, we're going to be looking at the ratio, the percentage, the makeup of the fats, the carbs, and the protein in the foods that we eat. That has a direct relationship on how your body reacts and how our body utilizes and absorbs our micronutrients, really, right down to a cellular level, how these micronutrients and the types of macronutrients that we eat, healthy macronutrients, can give us certain outcomes, like our energy, speeding up our metabolism for weight loss, maximizing our power in our workouts, our brain clarity, our brain energy, our focus. Those are things that really to consider when you're looking at the types of foods that you want to eat in keto. So let's get down to the nitty gritty here and just talk about macronutrients and how to calculate them, because I believe this is the foundation to weight loss. I really think that it's important to track because, without tracking, you're probably going to eat more than you realize, and you're probably not going to eat the right amount in not only just in calories, but you're probably not going to eat the right amounts in your ratios. Remember, the whole premise of keto is that you want to convert your body's energy source from carb burning to fat burning, and get into ketosis. That is what everybody in keto is after. Getting into ketosis is the switch over from carbs to fats, which is an efficient way of your body burning stored fat and the weight loss and getting healthy. Now, this kind of stuff is really important if you want to maintain consistency in keto. It's both knowing the calories that you're eating every day and your macronutrient ratio, for every meal, for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, your snacks, if you're eating that much. Even though in keto, calorie counting is not that important. It's not like other types of weight loss programs like Weight Watchers and other things where calorie counting is important. But what we want to do in keto is to have a healthy range of eating. Now, if you're new to keto or just barely starting out in keto and you have no idea, how to start, where to start, you've got to understand that macros, the macronutrients found in your foods, your carbs, your proteins, and your fats, you're going to need to know how much of those that you're eating every day. And this is where you need to start in order to convert over from carb burning into fat burning ketosis. So, it's pretty easy to get stuck in the weeds with all of this. So I want to just keep this easy to understand and kind of keep it up here, because I don't really think this does not have to be hard. It doesn't have to be, super hard math. I think people can keep this fairly easy and not get too, over down into the math of all of this. So on a basic level, what I'm going to go over here now is really getting into the ratios. These are going to be estimates. I just want to make it clear, everybody's metabolism is different. Your metabolism has to do with lots of things like your age, your gender, male or female. You know that guys lose weight a lot faster than women. Women, we're always battling with our hormones. 20-year-old's metabolism is going to be different than a 60-year-old's metabolism. If you're postmenopausal, all of those things are going to have to do with how your body loses weight. So you're going to have to tweak this a bit. Once you get started, if you run into a plateau or a weight loss stall, go back in and take a look at your macros, look at your ratios, and just tweak with it, and just kind of ebb and flow with it. I really recommend, especially if you're new to keto or just starting out with keto, is to really start out slowly. People, especially with our standard American diet, we're used to eating 100, 200, 300 carbs a day. And to go all the way down to 20 carbs a day is sometimes daunting and just, too hard to do in the beginning. Usually what I tell people to do is the first week, start out just by eliminating bread from your diet, then eliminating potatoes and rice from your diet. Start out with 100 carbs a day, then go down to 80 carbs, a day. And then the next week go down to 50, and then the next week go down to 30, and then the next week go down to 20. It's a lot easier for people to dive into it this way than just to go from 100 carbs down to 20 carbs. Now, there are some people who absolutely just want to go dive right into it and just go, I got to get right down to 20 carbs. I've got a lot of weight to lose. Spring is coming. I got to get into my bathing suit, or I've got a wedding coming up that I got to be into. I need to get right down to 20 carbs immediately. Go for it. So everybody's just going to start out with what feels right for them, and what is sustainable. Again, weight loss, like I tell people with exercise, it's easy to be gung-ho the first day or the first week, but can you sustain it? Is it something that you can do, month 1, month 2, month 3? You've got to make this sustainable so you can lose the weight that you want, and make it easy to start and get into it and get your routine going. We're creatures of habit. We pretty much like to eat the same foods, make the same recipes over and over again. I mean, we'd like to do some differences, but once you get the hang of how to do this, You're not going to have to count every single thing that you eat or drink. But in the beginning, I absolutely think that's the way to go. And I just want to make a disclaimer here. I don't know people that are listening to this. Before you really start a keto diet, I always recommend that you consult with your physician, but be prepared. Be prepared. They may not know anything about keto. They might automatically just, tell you shouldn't do it. But consult with your physician before you start, especially if you're a type 2 diabetic, you're taking medications like blood pressure, if you're breastfeeding or pregnant, or have any other severe medical conditions, definitely consult your physician first before you start on keto. All right, let's dive into the nitty gritty. So macros are calculated using different metrics. And I alluded to this earlier, such as your gender, male or female, your age, are you 20, are you 50, are you 70, your height, your current weight, and your current level of activity. You're going to need to figure out how many calories you're going to need to do to lose weight. Now, again, I recommend an app to help you with this. Most people are not going to sit down there every single day and do calculations. You need to figure out your grams of protein based on your weight. There's lots of calculations. There are tons of apps out there that can do this for you. I recommend using an app. I'm going to get into that in just a bit. The basics of figuring out your macros are the following. And this is just a basic. Remember, I'm speaking in broad terms. You want about 70 to 80% of your calories to come from fats. You want 20 to 25% of your calories to come from protein, and you want about 5 to 10% of your calories to come from your carbs, like your net carbs. Some people want to do net carbs. Some people want to do total carbs. So net carbs, remember, are the carbs minus your fiber and your sugars. That would be your net carbs. So you need to track what you eat. Now, it is harder once you get started, but once you get the momentum going and you get to see like a tinge of progress here, you'll get the reward by simply keeping tabs on what you're eating, how much of it to eat and when to eat it. And the apps will help keep you honest. So people, ask me all the time, what apps do you use? What do you recommend? So, the one that I use is Carb Manager. I've also used MyFitnessPal. There's Chronos, Macros. There's a ton of them out there. There are other apps that actually I like. I think MyFitnessPal, you can directly link fitness apps like your Fitbit, Garmin, Apple Heart, Samsung, that you can tie right into your app that'll track your fitness and help calculate your calories also. So again, Carb Manager, I like it. I think it's pretty easy to use. MyFitnessPal, I think they have, something like 11 million foods that they track in there. Carb Manager has several million foods. You can also add your own in there. If you don't, if you make a specific recipe, you can also add certain foods in there to help you track as well. So when you track, you're going to most likely get success. If you're really serious about weight loss, I recommend using an app to help you track. The tracking is what's going to help you stay successful. That's why other diet plans like Weight Watchers over the years has been successful. Going to meetings, where you have to be accountable, or they've got an app online is to help you be accountable. It's been successful. That's the personal accountability, and that's what a macro track app will help you with, along with staying in supportive Facebook groups with keto. It just helps to keep you accountable and keeps you in the zone. I believe it's like your roadmap. I'm here outside of Boston, and if I was going to drive from Boston all the way to Seattle cross country, I obviously wouldn't do that without some sort of map. I don't know how one could figure out your macros, how much you're eating fats and carbs and proteins, how you would figure out if you're getting the right ratios and percentages without a tracking app. You're going to also be really surprised once you start using a tracking app. When you put things in there, you're going to be really surprised where the hidden carbs are, like ketchups and sauces, or you go out to eat, and all of these things have hidden carbs in there. it really, really adds up, especially if you get yourself down to 20 carbs. You're gonna see really quickly that those 20 carbs, you're done by lunchtime. So that's why the tracking is important. And it's the same for protein. Some proteins you eat can convert over to carbs. In keto, you want moderate protein. So if you're eating a protein at every meal, and again, all proteins are not created equal, it adds up fast. And last, it can be true with fats. A lot in the beginning, especially, people typically don't eat enough of healthy fats. So that way, if you're tracking, you're getting towards the end of the day and you're not seeing that you barely have enough fats really to get into ketosis and keep your fat burning going, you may need to do a fat bomb at the end of the day. You might need to do a keto coffee at the end of the day, just to really up your fats for the day. So, while I can't promise anybody, ultimate success, I can definitely tell you these sort of things you're going to want to do if you want to significantly increase your odds of success. It's the accountability concept here. You're ticking off the right boxes. You're seeing all the evidence that's piling up, and that will really help you get into some success. So, it goes without saying that your macronutrient needs will change depending upon what your goals are. So, while some type of macro app will help you navigate this, your daily food, and help you with your weight loss, let me just go through, since I use Carb Manager, it's super easy. If you haven't used it or you want to try to use it, just download it. Once you go into the login and create your account, it's going to ask you then for the real specifics. Pardon me. It's going to ask you your gender, your height, your current weight, the year you were born, and it will automatically calculate, your calorie needs. So you're not going to have to do any of that math. That's another Facebook Live for sure. It's going to help you set up your ratio of your carbs to proteins to fats. And this is really cool within Carb Manager, and the other ones are probably the same too. You can set up whatever kind of ratio you want. It asks you, do you want to do a moderate ratio? Do you want to do a hardcore ratio? Like if you've heard of the carnivore diet, that's like no carb. That's practically just all proteins and fats. That's really hardcore. Do you want to start out moderate, like a 30-30-40 ratio? Do you want to start right away with a 20% ratio for your carbs? If you're into bodybuilding, you're going to set up your carb or your ratios for bodybuilding. It's all preset and will automatically calculate your macros. You've just got to choose the one that's right for you. Start out slow and then change it as you go. Again, I'm just mentioning Carb Manager because it's the one that I'm most familiar with. But others will absolutely do the trick for you too. So feel free to use the one that makes the most sense to you. Now, before I end the Facebook Live, I really want to reiterate that all of this can be overwhelming at first. Macros, how much proteins, how much carbs, how much fats. I promise once you get going in it, it becomes more routine and becomes easier. Take it slow, stay calm, stay in this group, stay in other groups that you're able to ask lots of questions, get support, be in groups that there aren't haters. I don't allow any of that in my group. I just kick people out of our group right away. We're all in this together. Be kind and gentle to yourself. This isn't a journey. Many people have been facing food problems their whole life. So we all need to be here to be supportive. It should be enjoyable, and we're here to help each other, especially once you start getting your gains. We want you to share those. It really helps all of us to keep going when we see, your start weight, your current weight, what you look like pre, what you look like post. It's really, really so important. It helps all of us to keep going. This is really important. On a side note, I forgot to mention this. This is really important. Once you set up in the beginning your all of your personal things like your gender, your height, your weight, which way you want to start the keto, like strict or start out a little slighter. Make sure that once you start losing weight, that you go back into your app, whatever it is that you're using, and adjust your weight. Because you've got to remember when you set the app up initially. So let's just say, I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say when you first set up the app, you weighed 200 pounds. And after a couple months, you're down 50 pounds, and now your weight is 150. But you got to remember, the app is still calculating your calories, it's calculating your macros, your fats, proteins, and carbs based on that 200 pounds, not on the 150 pounds. So you need to go back into your app where you can change your personal information in there and change your weight when you have significant weight loss goals, so that it can recalculate your macros based on your new weight. I hope that made sense, because you just want to make sure that you're getting the right information so that you can continue to plan, and it can help you plan as you head into your progress towards your new weight loss goal. So I hope that this has been helpful, that you guys understand a bit more about weight loss and tracking macros. Hopefully this cleared up a little bit of confusion. And again, I really believe that, doing the tracking with an app is just the way to go, especially in the beginning. Perhaps if you get the hang of it after a while, you may not need to use the app as much. But definitely the first, 6 months to a year, probably the tracking app is really critical. If you'd like help implementing healthy keto lifestyle, that's the easiest way possible. We'd love for you to stick with our group here at Keto Family Meal Plan. Visit our YouTube channel where I'll be posting these videos and other short videos on some great keto tips. I'd love to believe that we've got a lot to offer here, and it really is my honor every single day to serve all of you. Just so you know, we currently have over 250 keto-approved recipes and tips to help people navigate the keto lifestyle to make it as easy as possible. And we'll be doing, hopefully this week, I'll be doing 2 Facebook Lives. We're going to be doing 1 to 2 every week so that we can cut out through all that keto noise out there and help everybody navigate the keto confusion. I'll be doing different keto tips, shortcuts, and also do a short Q&A after each Facebook Live so that I can help people with healthy keto by eating balanced keto diet rich in healthy fats, lean proteins, and low carbs, so that weight loss is healthy and sustainable and fast and fun. And as I finish today's Facebook Live on macros, I just want to say, as this group continues to grow, and that I'm adding recipes and tips every day that support the ketogenic lifestyle, I want to really just want you guys to know that this group is about you. Not only are we helping people of 50 states, but we're also helping people around the globe. We've got people from England and Palestine and Thailand and Mexico, Central America, Botswana, Puerto Rico, Egypt, the Philippines, and more. And that's what I love about this whole thing. I'm just going to pause here just for a few seconds, see if anybody has any questions. Go ahead and type it into the comments section before we finish up this live. Let's give you 5 or 10 seconds here, see if there are any questions. Great. If you have any questions after this, feel free to go back to this Facebook Live and post them in there. I visit, previous Facebook Lives, once a week. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. I'm looking forward to the next Facebook Live. So until we meet again, au revoir, adios, arrivederci, sayonara, and goodbye.